The COVID-19 pandemic is creating massive upheaval in Bolivia and Peru, with governments responding with a wide array of policies and programs, using the security forces for quarantine enforcement. They have closed their borders and imposed strict lockdowns. Peru has extended quarantine until May 24th and most of Bolivia until May 31st. Peru's four-phase process will last through August, and Bolivia announced a regional approach based on the severity of the pandemic in each department, an indicator that sets Bolivia and Peru apart and which is being followed domestically and internationally is the response to Coca, the raw material used to make cocaine. Bolivia and Peru are historic coca producers, with evidence of coca cultivation stretching back thousands of years, and both cultivation and consumption are legal. This is not the case in Colombia, the largest coca producer. Since the quarantine began, farmers have not been able to sell coca leaves in the authorized markets. The government is not attempting to eradicate coca, but has isolated parts of the Chapare, and Interior Minister Arturo Murillo has publicly said that a military campaign to get rid of coca would not be a bad idea. There have already been flare-ups, with the government claiming that coca growers and their representative federations are trying to provoke violence. Coca farmers say the exact opposite is the case, with the government cutting off their fuel supplies, further damaging the local economy. It has largely eliminated fuel needed for aeration pumps in the fish farming industry, projects funded by the European Union and used as a model for similar initiatives in Peru. The lack of fuel also means growers lack transportation to distribute food to people in need, a measure undertaken by local coca unions as soon as the crisis began. This solidarity effort extended to other departments. Although kept in check so far, there is a creeping militarization of Bolivia's drug policy that reflects other aspects of the ostensibly interim government: human rights violations, electronic surveillance, attacks on the media, that are a throwback to the country's dark days of military rule. Peru is not eradicating coca during the emergency, and the state coca company, Enaco, which acquires coca leaves for industrial use, continues to operate in some regions. The state is also working with organized groups, including those that represent coca farmers, to provide assistance during the lockdown, although this aid has been uneven and many families have not received it. Peruvian coca growers affirm that coca remains the cash crop farmers grow to make ends meet. It can be harvested up to 4 times a year, required little maintenance, and grows well among other crops. Coca growers in different valleys in Bolivia and Peru shared first-hand information on how the coronavirus is affecting the local population in their areas, how governments and both local and national have responded, and how the crisis has impacted coca cultivation. Following are edited comments from growers in Bolivia's Chapare and Yungas regions, and from the Upper Huallaga Valley and Apurimac and Mantaro River Valley zones in Peru. And here is a number of farmers from Peru and Bolivia who explain how has the corona lockdown has affected their coca tea production for the last 3 months. Roxana Argandona: how has COVID-19 affected your town? Everything is quiet here. We have been coordinating with the military, and so far we do not have any cases or any deaths. The markets open each day until noon, but they are totally closed on weekends. People are going to the market, but in an orderly way, respecting the regulations. The markets for coca, however, are closed and there are no sales. This has hurt us. We have also been hurt by the lack of fuel for transportation. How has the COVID-19 emergency affected coca crops, sales and price? This has completely affected coca growers. We're unable to move around and the coca markets are completely closed. All activity around coca production is paralyzed. No one is harvesting and bringing product to market. The leaves will continue falling off the bushes until the coronavirus passes. The price had fallen to 25 bolivianos, which is $3.60 a pound right before the quarantine started, but now there is no price. No one is selling, no one is buying. Have you or people you know benefit from the government's emergency assistance? My father received the food basket. We should have benefited from the new stipend, but we do not have access to it because the banks are closed. Those of us in rural areas have kept calm because we can produce what we eat. We feel bad for people in the city, and our federations and growers have been delivering products out of solidarity. The government have always tried to shut us off. They're fining people who are trying to deliver food in a sign of solidarity. It's as if the government wants people to die. What is your take on the government's attitude towards the Chapare? We have been peaceful, coordinating with the army, but the government is provoking us for no reason. The police have come in without respecting any protocols, without worrying about the health of people. They should be taking precaution, acting as an example, but instead they showed up as if no one lived here, like we were criminals. I don't know what the president is thinking. They act as if only young people live here. There are people who are sick, there are senior citizens and children, but this government is not respecting anyone. They have put us all in the same sack. In other words, because of the actions of a few, we're all being punished. I think they're going to encapsulate us, cut us off from the rest of the country. Next, we have Magdalena Condori, who is a former executive director of the Regional Federation of Women in Inclusive. How has your municipality been affected by COVID-19? Los Yungas has been forgotten by the government. Every day I see on television that the government is providing equipment and supplies, but none of that reaches us in Los Yungas. The hospitals have been overlooked. They have no supplies, and if you try to see a doctor, there are no appointments because they cannot prescribe any medication without supplies. This is the situation in Los Yungas. We have been neglected. The government's claims seem to be nothing more than a media campaign. I am sick and nobody has done any testing. I saw the doctor, but because I have not been to a city, he said I must have dengue fever. I have been getting by with herbal and natural medicines because there is nothing else. Are you abiding by the lockdown? We are respecting the quarantine now, but we were a bit more flexible before because people are day laborers. We started following quarantine 1 week after it was announced on March 20th because people needed a bit of time to adjust. But everyone is well aware now and nobody gets in or out. What do you think of the measures taken by the government to stop COVID-19? It's nothing but drama for them. Every day they talk about the equipment, materials and supplies they're buying and moving around. That is fine, but where is it? Why has it not reached the countryside? Here, there is nothing, no supplies, no medicines, nothing. Are you or any other relatives benefiting from a subsidy from the national government? How do you assess their coordination for delivering the bonuses? Are there problems to cash the subsidies? My children are among the beneficiaries, but the banks around here are closed. They say that we should cash our bonus, but they do not say how this should be done without banks. It seems like a lot of hot air. How has the emergency affected Coca crops, the sales and the prices? Are Coca markets paralyzed? All the markets are closed, but there is corruption and people selling under the table. The price of Coca has decreased here. For £30, we used to get 1,000 Bolivianos, which is about $144. But now, people are not even bothering to sell it because it is around $36. Nobody wants to buy because Coca leaves whiten when you store them. They lose their scent, so there are no buyers. Benigno Lopez. Lopez is the president of the Federation of Agricultural Producers of the Apurimac and In River Valleys in Peru. Are the government stipends and food assistance programs reaching your towns? The municipal governments, which have their social assistance offices, have been distributing food baskets. Some families here have received stipends, but the majority have not received any money. It is complicated. The poorest families have not benefited because they are not on the list that the government uses. The federations like FEPRA-RAE have been talking to municipalities so that they can get money to those who really need it. The government has offered a special stipend for rural areas, and we're talking to the government, to Congress, to make sure farmers in the VRAM receive it. What about the regional government? The regional governor has not focused on the VRAM. Right now, the interest is guaranteeing that people who want to return to the region can return, but they need to be in quarantine. We have sent a document to the regional government with their requests, because the VRAM is too important to be left out of the plans. Farmers grow different products. Are they able to get products to market? Our farmers are very concerned. Some of the products are getting out, but the prices are not good. The cooperatives are not buying cacao or coffee, and the traders who normally buy products are not arriving. The small local markets are buying products. but the demand is down. We have members who grow ginger and other spices and they are hurting. The authorities need to pay special attention to the RAM so that we are able to get our fruit and other products to national markets. Our coffee and cacao farmers will be in big trouble if the government does not get involved. What about Coca? Inaco, National Coca Company, is operating. It is buying from the farmers who are registered with it. The price Inaco pays has not changed since the crisis started. The price has changed a great deal for other coca markets and there are no sales. The drop in price has complicated the economic situation even more. The anti-drug agency DeVita has the Farm to Table program and is working to promote fish farming. Is your organization involved? We're working with different state agencies, Agro-Rural, Pro-Vram, to participate in programs. We have participated in farmers markets in Santa Rosa, Lolechekwa, Samugari and Kanaira districts. We're able to sell our products like bananas and other fruits and can buy at good prices products from the highlands like potatoes, etc. We're also working on fish farming. There is production of pacu fish in some districts and we can buy trout raised in the highlands. And last we have Serafin Luan. Luan is the president of Peru Association and a former leader of the National Confederation of Farming Organizations of the Coca growing valleys of Peru. Have the government's programs reached people in your area? People who live in cities have been benefiting, but people in the countryside, the people who are the poorest, they have not been receiving any money promised by the government. The people who are enrolled in Juntos, a conditioned cash transfer program, and Pension 65 for seniors, have been receiving their stipends. In Juntos, they need to meet basic criteria, send the kids to school, make sure they see a doctor, and have school supplies and clothes. The government is continuing with transfers even though there are no classes. The government has announced a stipend for rural zones, but it has not started to arrive. People are very concerned. This happened from one minute to the next for most people and we were not prepared for quarantine. Even if we needed to move around, it would not be possible. No buses are operating. Are people harvesting coca? Harvesting has been normal, but there are absolutely no sales. The market is closed for coca leaves. The price of coca in cities has increased because there is a demand, but coca is no longer arriving. The price of a kilo of coca leaves in the city of Huánuco has increased to 50 soles if you can find it. In the countryside, however, the price has fallen substantially. There is no way to move it, so no one wants to pay for it. I think it is important to stress that for us, coca is simply a source of quick cash. It is a way for us to supplement our family economy. It is a substance issue. We sell coca to buy products we need. The situation would be different if we had a strong organization like they do in Bolivia. We have been holding meetings here to propose to the government a social control model like in Bolivia. We're making progress, but the coronavirus has put everything on hold. Unfortunately, the longer this lasts, the harder it is going to be to organize. Could the crisis lead more farmers to switch to coffee and cacao? This is not the first big blow we have received in the Upper Hulaga Valley. In the 1990s, former President Alberto Fujimori adopted policies that closed off access to precursor chemicals. This was a disaster for people who only planted coca. The price fell from $55 to $60 per 25 pounds to only a few dollars. It was a crisis for many people. Coca lost all of its value and people recognized that they needed to have a variety of crops. Because of this experience, you do not find farmers in the Upper Huallaga with only coca. The majority plant several different crops, including cassava, corn, bananas, rice, and beans. This has helped in the current situation. If someone is planting only coca, they're in deep trouble right now.
Drop the bass, Kitty.
And if you want to protect your online privacy and help my channel out at the same time, visit drivenanddesire.com/NordVPN. If you sign up through that link, I will earn a small commission to keep this channel as well as my other projects like drivenanddesire.com going. Take us out, kitty.
I got money in the bank. Shawty, what's your thing?